My nigga James pulled up. We in the gym today. Yo, let me in, bro. What's up with you? Guy talking shit. But look, I got the video edited, bro. That's the shit. That's how you hold on to the air. With a breakdown, we're back from the gym. Let's get right into it. It's gonna be a short, not a really, quick short video. Us30, it did make a resistance on a daily time frame. We do have a bearish candle creating a resistance, so we can slap on our fib. We have point A to point B. This was just a continuation, 23.6 retrace, as you can see here. Let me mark it off. Too big, pause. But yeah, this was 23.6 retrace, so we modify fib. And being that we have a resistance here, we just created a small resistance on daily time frame. We can probably potentially look for a retrace, right? So we want to, okay, so let's go on the H1 time frame. I have the H1 time frame still moving in a bullish momentum, still moving in bullish structure, right? So we have a higher high point breaking this resistance. Yeah, so we have a higher high point. Now we look like we're around this higher low point, 61.8% on the fib. And if we can continue bullish, then we can continue the uptrend. We can continue to push for the uptrend, because US30 is super duper bullish right now. You see, we have straight 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days of straight bullish candles, right? Excuse the 2 dojis, but straight bullish candles. So we're straight pushing, right? So we have to wait on the H1 time frame to see if we get a break of this 100%. Then we're gonna support the downtrend, right? And that will be a pullback on the daily time frame. So we can look for sells if we have a break of. So let's say we get something like this, and then we break here, and then we get a lower high point. Then we know we're looking for sells on the H1 time frame, which is going to support the daily pullback, right? So that is but in the meantime, we're looking for buys, right? So we have price break this resistance again. See how the seller stepped in and the buyers pushed past this. So it was not even no sellers here to contest the buyers where they wanted to push the market up. So market got pushed up, so we're looking for this price point to be broken, aka this resistance to be broken, to then target the equal highs or negative 27% as TP1 as always, right? So that's the outlook for US30 right now. Let's go to the NASDAQ. Similar structure, similar everything. We have a break of resistance, higher low point, higher high point. Now we're looking for a pullback to make a higher low point, right? We're waiting to see if price can pull back below where the sellers stepped in and pushed price down. We're waiting for a pullback, right, to either tap into one of these zones, right? So we have it here around 61.8, this zone right here. And if we get a push past this zone, but it does not touch this zone, once we get a break above this zone again, then we can look for buys again, target the equal highs or even negative 27% for TP1, right? If we get a pullback steep enough to hit 61.8%, even steeper, but we know once it pushed back above this zone, then we're going to look for buys. So ideally, we want to get a push down here somewhere. It'll be a better risk to reward, more money. You know, why else do we trade? For money, right? So yeah, if same thing with US30, if we get a pullback and it does not break this high to create a new higher high, then we know we could potentially start looking for sells once we get a break of support, which is right here, right? On the H4 time frame, this is the support level. This black line right here is the support for the H1 time frame for this bullish doji. This bearish doji bullish candle created this support, right? So I'm going to make this only visible on the H4 and higher. So H1, we won't see it on H1 to confuse us, right? So yeah, that's the outlook for NASDAQ. Moving on to gold. Let's see. H4 time frame, we have a break of resistance here, creating a new high point. We slapped on our fib, point A to point B. We retraced somewhat along 38.2%. And let's see here. And we look like we're creating a high low point here where we have a good support. Let's go to the M15 time frame. So we have a break of resistance. Sorry about that. We got a break of resistance. Slap on a fib. Point A to point B. And we look like we don't look like. We are around 61.8% as a pullback. On the H1 time frame, we have a support, which could potentially be the higher low, and we just have to wait to see what price wants to do when market open, right? Once we break above this resistance here, we want to target the equal highs at 3,363, let's say $65, right? We want to use whole numbers for gold. So that is the outlook for gold at the moment. We're just waiting to see how price wants to push, right? So I could potentially, I already have alerts. Because NASDAQ, I'm gonna see that anyway. So we can put an alert here. Once we break past this zone, we're looking for buys, right? Because we already know we're in a bullish structure. So stops below, we could target the equal highs, or we can target negative 27% for TP1. And that could be a 1 to 10. Crazy, right? Probably give our stops a little bit more. 1 to 7 and 1 to 10. So if you risk a band, you can make 7 to 10,000 on here, on this trade. And that's a good chunk of change right there. Good trade. Let's move on to UJ. So we do have UJ. We do have UJ giving us somewhat of a bullish momentum, bullish trend, right? Where we did tap into the zone and we did react from the zone, and the market is actually pushing up. So for me, for market open, I could potentially just follow the trend, right? Ride the wave of the trend. The trend is your friend, where we don't have we just have consolidation. This is all sloppiness. But if we could get something like this on the lower time frame, on the M5 time frame, to indicate bullish structure, something like this, high low point, high highs and high lows, then we could take UJ up to negative 27%, or on the daily, we could take it to TP1, which is negative 27% on the daily, because we have this right here, point A to point B. And we have negative, no, I think it looks better on the H4 time frame. Yes. So on the H4 time frame, we have point A to point B. And that's why we have this green zone here for TP1. And that could be the outlook. So if the trend keeps flowing, H1, H4, M30, then we can just hold this trade. This could be a good swing trade right here, and this could be held. So yeah, we want to just lower time frames, when that New York volume start kicking in, start looking for buys, right? Start looking for buys, and that could be a good position, good trade. Oh, it looks like market open. Oh, it's 5:30. Market is, and it gapped down too, so let's go. Let's see what's going on. For GU, on the daily, we have a high point breaking this resistance, previous resistance here. We have a high point, and on H4, we are looking like we want to pull back, but we pull back to 38.2%, and we can wait to see if we're gonna, if we can get bullish structure, right? If we can start getting bullish structure. Bullish structure is high highs and high lows. So once we start getting down on the H1 M30 time frame, then we can start looking for buys also. So everything looked like it's setting up for buys this week. Let's see here. We can get actually a steeper retrace because we didn't establish a support on the daily time frame. We got one big bearish candle. We got dojis for the past 2 days. So we could probably potentially anticipate a steeper pullback on the daily for the daily time frame, right? Where we create a resistance, price is failing to break it. So let's see here. Let's see if we could probably slap on a counter trend line. Let's see. Let's see something that makes sense. This might be too flat, but let's see what happens. You know, let's see if it breaks out, if it respects it. Okay, so this is from here. Okay, cool. Let's make this visible. H1 time frame. Yeah, so we could see how this plays out if this wants to break. Bullish or bearish, right? So we want to keep our eyes and our options open for GU because it could go either way, right? Also, let's check the news. Let's see what news we have this week. Okay. Let's see. We have no US news on Monday. We got JPY news, GBP, but it's all green, yellow folders. We have no US news, no red folders for USD or or GBP. Same. Okay, so we have FOMC on Wednesday. We have unemployment claims on Thursday, and we have GDP, and we have GDP on Friday. So Monday, Tuesday, we should just be patient. Just be patient. The news might dictate what happens in the market this upcoming week, and see where the market wants to push. Yeah. But let's see. I think that wraps it up. Quick little breakdown just for the upcoming week. I'll do a midweek breakdown this Wednesday to see where the market went and see how we can either see if our analysis was right or see a way where we can adapt, you know, because we can always be wrong. So, identify the wrongs, adapt to it, move on. And that's about it, really. So yeah, catch you guys on the next breakdown.